Think you need a big elaborate setup to train as a firefighter? Well, you don't. Today I'm gonna show you a quick and effective kettlebell session that you can do at home or on the job, so let's get into it. All right, you guys, we're gonna get started. I'm gonna try to get everything from the warm-up as well as the main working set done in under 30 minutes, just to show you the effectiveness of the kettlebell and how you can do a lot with a little, with minimal time and equipment. We're gonna start with our warm-up. The main goal here is just to warm up the lower body as well as the upper body before we get into the main set of work. So everything today is gonna be body weight or done with a single kettlebell. As you can see, we're gonna start with the heels elevated body weight squat. For all the exercises today, you guys, we're gonna do 4 sets of 10 reps across the board just to keep things consistent. And we're gonna be doing these 6 movements that really focus on the 6 foundational patterns, which is squat, lunge, hinge, push, pull, carry. So let's get into it. Again, heels elevated here. The idea is we're gonna start that watch and see if we can get it done in 30 minutes. So warming up the knees here, getting into some deep knee flexion. 7, 8, 9, 10, and then we're gonna superset this into a hand release push-up. So lower body as well as upper body. Go into our push-up position, bottom there, we're gonna retract the scapula, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and then push up. We're gonna do 10 here as well. As you can see, the turf is wet, so if it looks like I peed my pants, I have not. We're gonna hopefully replace this with sweat here in a second. One thing, and this is why I love supersets and I love, circuit-based training in general, and that's why the kettlebell is so great. What you'll see across this workout, you guys, there'll be a common theme of minimal rest. The reason for that is we're building strength and cardiovascular capacity at once, which really mimics what we see on the fire ground. Set number 2, 10 more reps. If you wanted to use something else to elevate your heels, I've seen, guys and girls use a piece of 2x4. You can use a plate, whatever you need. Use what you have accessible to you. But again, just to drive the point home, how we're gonna do everything today with a single kettlebell, I'm using that to elevate my heels as well. Final set here, heart rate's warming up, starting to feel the body warm up, and that's exactly what we're after. What I'm really focusing on here is, again, retracting those shoulder blades, really activating the musculature of the shoulder, and then exploding through the floor from a dead stop position. Really wake up that central nervous system and get that chest warmed up. Alrighty, guys, so the goal behind that is just to literally warm up the body, get the CNS online and get the muscles moving. We're gonna do some quick mobility and then we'll get into the main working set. Only 4 minutes in, we're already rocking and rolling. Heart rate's at like 125, so everything is working well. So the same way we attacked the lower body as well as the upper body with our warm-up, we're just gonna do some mobility that addresses both the lower body and the upper body. Again, just because this is gonna be a full body workout, we wanna make sure that everything is primed and ready. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna do a little 90-90 transition. 3 different options here: beginner, intermediate, advanced. If we really struggle with hip mobility, let's start using our hands as support. We're simply gonna pivot on our heels, and we're gonna be going side to side, moving from external and internal rotation of the hips, getting that joint moving. We're gonna simply do 10 per side. If you wanna level that up, we can go into no hands, like this. And if we really wanna go from there, we can do a shin box. So basically, we're going to continue to stay in that 90-90 position, but when we come over, we're gonna come up, squeeze the glutes, and back down. Other side, up. Just like so. So not only are we working internal and external rotation, we're also getting a really good contraction of that glute as we pop up out of that position, and this would obviously be the most advanced example. So regardless of what you do, we're gonna do 10 per side there. After that, we're gonna go into our all fours position, and we're gonna do a little thread the needle exercise. When we're doing a full body workout, we wanna make sure that we're mobilizing the hips for our lower body and the thoracic spine and shoulders for our upper body. So from this all fours position, we are going to thread the needle. So we're gonna reach through. We should feel a nice, good stretch in our upper back. We wanna keep our hips as quiet or as level as possible, just to make sure that most of the movement is happening about our upper body. And then we're gonna try to come up as close as we can to that 12 o'clock position. We're gonna do 10 per side here. Again, if you're getting here and you realize that's really difficult, that tells me you have a really stiff thoracic spine. And if your hips are stiff, guys, and your thoracic spine is stiff, what is in the middle of my shoulders and thoracic spine and my hips? It's my low back, and it is gonna make up for the lack of range of motion that you have. So that's why a lot of people have issues. So we're gonna run through that 10 per side. All right, you guys, so warm-up is complete, very comprehensive warm-up, and we're ready to rock and roll. We're about 7.5 minutes in. We're gonna get into our main working set. So like I said, we're gonna be doing 6 different exercises. We're gonna be doing 10 reps and 4 sets per exercise. We're gonna throw on the screen as we work through it. And again, the idea is we're gonna work all the foundational movement patterns. And if we do that, we're gonna give ourselves a really good full body workout. So movement number 1 is going to be the traditional goblet squat. 4 sets, 10 reps, minimal rest. We're gonna get started. I'm gonna start with a 53-pound kettlebell. This is like a medium heavy kettlebell for me. It's not a super heavy one, because what I'm gonna do is, because I'm only utilizing one kettlebell, I wanna make sure the same way that I'm goblet squatting is also something that I can press later down the line. So I don't wanna use a really heavy kettlebell that I can squat with effectively, but then I'm gonna have a really hard time hitting that 10 reps with the press. So again, we're finding something that is gonna be able to work our body across the board, head to toe, regardless of the movement that we're doing. So starting with the goblet squat for movement number 1 of our main set. And again, you guys, for me as someone that's a little bit more trained, I'm gonna try to keep these rest intervals 15, 20 seconds max. If you're just starting out, give yourself a little bit more grace, give yourself a little bit more time. But again, as I mentioned before, the way that I'm able to work aerobic capacity, functional strength, and mobility all at once and really get all those benefits simultaneously is by lowering that rest interval so my heart rate comes up, stays up, and doesn't really drop down too much. To really drive this point home, you guys, too, as I was gonna take this kettlebell out of my gym and bring it into my living room, I felt that was kind of unnecessary. But all this stuff is basically just extras. If I really had to choose the things that I would keep in this whole entire gym, it would literally be a bunch of kettlebells, and that's all I would really need. At work, at the station we joke, the station that I work at, I've amassed all these kettlebells because I really love to train that way. But honestly, guys, it's because it is, in my opinion, the most effective tool for first responders to build, translatable dynamic strength. I would happily do it for the rest of my life. So set number 3, quit lobbing, Mitch. Keep working. All right, you guys, set number 4. So, movement number 1, squat pattern complete. We're gonna move on to movement number 2, which is gonna be a lunge pattern. Here, I'm gonna do a unilateral kettlebell lunge. Unilateral meaning one-sided, and that's something that we're going to experience on our job. How often are you carrying things on both sides? It's pretty rare. Most of the time we're carrying a defib, a med bag, a saw on one side, and that's why I absolutely love kettlebell training. Most traditional lifting is bilateral. which is fine, has a time and a place, but I really love the kettlebell for that reason, because it's really gonna translate to what we experience as firefighters. So we're gonna go up into the front rack position. And again, guys, 4 sets of 10 reps. We're gonna do 10 reps per side for the single or unilateral exercises. So for this, I'm gonna alternate. We're gonna do, first set, there's gonna be forward lunges. This is gonna be more of a quad focus, which is really great. As we go down into that lunge, we're really working, strengthen that quad as we decelerate through the eccentric, and that's when we're normally gonna get hurt, is as we slow ourselves down. So that's really gonna build some eccentric capacity and build some strong knees in the process. We're gonna go to that other side. And again, with this unilateral training, not only am I working unilateral leg strength, but the core is really having to work. 6, to keep me nice and upright. 7, 8. So what we're gonna do is, that was set number 1. We're doing 4 sets. Set number 2 is gonna be a reverse lunge, a little bit more glute focused. Depending on the workout, depending on the goal, I might just do forward lunges, I might just do reverse lunges, but for today, we're gonna do a bit of both. Again, just to kill as many birds with one stone and work the body as best we can with this single kettlebell. And as you can hear in my breath as well as my heart rate, people ask me, Coach Mitch, how do you burn, 700 calories in a 50-minute workout? As you can see, guys, that is like threshold heart rate for me as someone that runs a lot. So that tells me I'm really working the body. So next, you guys, we're gonna go into a reverse lunge. Stepping back now, more glute focus. One thing I want you to guys and girls to be very mindful of is when you're doing those unilateral exercises, be mindful of what side feels more difficult. That's why I love this more dynamic functional training, because it's going to make your weak links blatantly clear. And if we can understand those weak links, address them and rectify them, that's how we stay strong, powerful, and capable for years to come and really build that longevity piece. Because if we ignore them or we reinforce them through traditional lifting, where we're relying on a machine, a bench, an artificial form of stability, it can make the problem worse. But here, we're addressing the problem and making it better. So set number 3, back to those forward lunges. I'm here in my freezing garage in Canada, and I'm one of those lunatics. I love to sweat like a dog when I'm working out, because it tells me that I'm working hard. So we have the heater off, so the audio is ideal. And I miss sweating. I'm so excited for the weather to get warmer. All right, you guys, last set, back to those reverse lunges to finish. You should try to do as well as you're working through these workouts, switch side to side. I don't want to always start on my left side. I want to make sure that I'm spreading that fatigue out and going side to side. That way I'm not just always starting on my stronger side as I'm fresher, or going to my weaker side when I'm fresher. I want to go back and forth again just to build strength across the body and not bias one side versus the next. So squat, a lunge, we're on to hinge next. So the difference between a squat is my knee angle changes when I squat. See how my knee angle is changing? With a hinge, my knee angle is going to basically remain soft, slight bend in the knee. All the movement is happening about with my hips. So see how the hips are moving back, the knee angle isn't changing? What that's gonna do is that's gonna put a big emphasis on the hamstring, glute, an entire posterior chain, and that was the goal. Squat movement, really great for building quads and glutes. Hinge movement is a lot more about building the hamstring, glutes, and posterior chain. So what we're gonna do here is a B stance. Number 3 is a B stance or kickstand RDL. Foot's gonna come forward. I'm gonna line the big toe of the back foot up with the heel of the front foot. This is my kickstand or my B stance. What this is gonna do, it's gonna allow me to bias that front leg through the hinge with the added stability. If you wanna advance this movement, simply just go to a single leg RDL. Really gonna challenge foot and ankle stability. But for today, we're gonna do the B stance. Gives us some added benefit, allows us to really overload that hip in a way that we might not be able to if we don't have that stability. 10 per side, 4 reps again. And AJ is really gonna emphasize, watch you guys, maintain a soft knee. All the movement is happening about the hips. Keep the back nice and flat. Sending those kids back, 3. Beautiful. Rocking and rolling. We might be a little bit over 30 minutes because I'm blabbing trying to explain this stuff to you guys, but I can guarantee if you're in doing this yourself, you'll be able to knock this out in 30, 35 minutes. So many of the people that we work with here at Everyday Heroes are shift workers. They have young families. They have other commitments. The gym might be 30 minutes away. So if we can prioritize a type of fitness that is going to benefit them in their job and in day-to-day life, at home with minimal equipment, that is the goal. And that's why, in case you're not understanding, the kettlebell is awesome. All right, you guys, set number 2. And again, we started on this side last time. So we're gonna alternate and go on the other side this time. And I don't wanna see any of this, you guys. Don't wanna see any of this. This is using that arm for artificial or added stability. I want that core doing all the work, okay? Set number 2 complete. 10, 15 seconds. We're getting our mojo. We're getting a little sweat going, we're feeling great. Set number 3 coming up. All right, you guys, so we got squat, lunge, hinge. We're gonna go on to push now. So what we're gonna do is a clean to press. So again, really working that posterior chain. We're gonna clean that up, press overhead, just like everything else. 4 sets, 10 reps per side. What I want you to be very mindful of here, if you're right-handed, I bet you that right hand is gonna feel really, really good. If you're left-handed, I feel it's gonna be a little bit more difficult. I'm right-handed. I felt pretty good. I know because I do a lot of this unilateral training that my left side has come up a lot, but it's always gonna feel a little bit more challenging. Another 10 sets or 10 reps on that side. This next set, we're gonna walk through the keys to the clean. So, first thing I noticed, a lot of people, they're casting the kettlebell too far out in front of them. When you do that, the kettlebell's gonna clunk you on the wrist. So we wanna keep it nice and close to the body, get underneath it with quick elbows, and then press overhead. The first rep, I'm gonna show you how it's done incorrectly. Second rep, we'll show you how it's done correctly. Again, starting on the left side now, because we started on the right side first rep. So, first one, too far out in front of us, clunk, press. Keep it in close. Nice quick elbows, nice and smooth. No more bruising on those elbows. Wrong, 3, right, 4, good. Now, as you guys can see, again, the idea here is like, if I went with 70, for a goblet squat, that is something that I can do relatively easy, but now all of a sudden I'm trying to do 70 pounds of the clean and press. Of course, if you have more accessibility to more kettlebells, change it up. Dial it up for the squats, dial it down for the presses, but I really wanted to drive home that you can literally get it all done with the single kettlebell if you choose the right one. Basic guidance that I provide is beginner set is something from like 26 to 44 pounds. Intermediate set is 35 pounds to 53 pounds. A more advanced set would be 44 pounds to like 88 pounds if you have the ability and, and the means to pay for that. So it all depends, but that's a really good starting place. And if you're wondering why it's in really weird poundage, it's because kilograms are usually weighed out in kilograms, and that is the poundage conversion. So set number 3 here, we're getting there. All right, we got squat, we got lunge, we got hinge, we got push, and now we're moving on to pull, you guys. So we're gonna do a little unsupported alternating kettlebell row. So we're gonna alternate side to side. That side to side movement is really gonna force us to use the musculature of the back, the glutes, the multifidus, like all the deep core stabilizers that keep that body stabilized from an unsupported position. And we're gonna alternate side to side. Again, 10 reps per side for 4 reps. And the idea behind this kettlebell training is how can we get the most juice for the squeeze? If I'm doing some really isolated movement and working my back, my lats, my traps, my rhomboids, awesome. But with that position, you guys think about raising a tool, pulling it down Firefighter. If you're the heel Firefighter, pulling some hose in, it's all from this unsupported position. So the more that our training can mimic our job in a controlled setting, the more we're gonna be able to thrive, excel, and show up in that uncontrolled setting on the fire ground. Set number 2, 10 per side. Let's go. Biggest thing with rows, you guys, is we are pulling in to our hip. We're not pulling up into our eye, we're pulling into our hip. That way we're able to use the big, powerful musculature of the back, opposed to using the small musculature of the rear delt. Drive into that shoulder, drive into that hip, driving with your elbow, side to side, and we're jacking up the heart rate just as much as we're pumping up the back here. I'm feeling my core get a pump there, you guys. Again, that's just gonna work the core as much as it works the back, the forearms, the biceps, you name it. Amazing flowing movement. We're almost there. Just because I really wanna make sure that we get as close as that 30-minute marker, I'm gonna bang out set 3 and set 4. My homie AJ behind the camera is gonna put on some really good cinematic B-roll music that's gonna get you guys fired up. So let's go. Set 3 and 4, time to work. All right, you guys. Number 5 of 6, we have squat, lunge, hinge, push, pull, carry. Something that we do each and every day. So we are going to do an overhead kettlebell march. If you have the ability to walk for these, instead of doing 10 very slow reps per side, you can opt for 50 meters, 100 feet down and back. What we're trying to mimic here is working out at home and not having the ability to move around. So we're gonna opt for a march, which is basically gonna accomplish the exact same thing, just with less space to work with. So we're gonna go up overhead. don't quote me on this, it's a paraphrase, but I'm about 99% sure that this is accurate. When you put a weight at shoulder level in the front rack, it is 4 times that weight at the opposing hip. So just for sake of numbers, 50 pounds here equates to 200 pounds, there's math, at your hip. When you go above overhead because of leverage, it is 8 times. So if you have 50 pounds over here, it is 400 pounds at your hip. And again, that's the thing, you guys, we don't just have to utilize progressive overload and crush our body with heavy weights. It's about how you utilize that weight. And that's why like functional science-based lifting has been so beneficial to me, because I'm able to do more with less weight. And that way I can make sure that my body lasts the 20, 25, 30 years that we have to as firefighters. So we're gonna go up, overhead, slow march, you guys. You can sit here and do this all day long, but now it's slow, steady, controlled, really gripping the floor with your feet and creating true stability through the entire body. 10 per side here. This is working everything literally from the ground up. Ten per side, nice and slow. Working the hip flexors, the deep core, the glute is having to stabilize that hip joint, the core, the QL, the obliques on the opposing side, having to work overtime to keep your body upright. This is functional training, you guys. So for the sake of time, same thing, we're gonna bang out set 2, 3, and 4, and wrap this baby up. We will see you guys at the end of the workout. And that is it, my friends. Let's stop the workout and let's see how we made out. So like I said, I was flapping my gums, so we ran a bit over, but it's 4-0, 40 minutes, over 500 calories, average heart rate of 130 beats a minute. That would be pretty routine for me if I was doing like a zone 2 run. So as we've been mentioning, you're getting the functional strength benefit. We're gaining mobility, capacity, and tolerance through movements that actually translate to our job as firefighters, all while building our cardiovascular engine. To me, the epitome of first responder fitness is balancing functional, usable strength with endurance. If you can do those things, that is the pinnacle of first responder fitness. So I hope you guys enjoyed this quick and dirty kettlebell workout. If you want, I'm gonna drop my free Kettlebell First Responder Foundations program in the description below. Until next time, take care, train hard, own your oath, stay safe. Peace.